Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Welcome up Slide DIY. So right here I'm kind of melting this plastic just to make it more straight. I basically cut some of the tails and I'm kind of melting it in. I could buy a tool called a heat or a hair dryer. So let me kind of start from the beginning. I got these two skateboards. There's one here and then there's one on the left. I'm really into skateboards because they're a really good way to get around. I made pretty much a template that matched the end of this, of both. So I need a front and a rear. But first, I actually finished painting the hardware and stuff. And my camera, I learned that and I need to touch up paint just a little bit more. I'm slowly but surely dealing with a lot of the, fixing up this stuff, but and then I've got the acrylic pieces cut. I actually got the right size tail dimensions according to the thickness or the width of it's pretty much the width of the acrylic pieces. It's all the same size, and when I drew the top line, I left a small space so the blade so it'll make the difference of the blade. And all these need is pretty much a jigsaw or a good handsaw, wire saw. Yeah, and I made other size of tails and things, and basically this size right here pretty much fits perfectly. So I made four of these, two for each skateboard, the front and the rear and things. But for now, that's the final tail. But what I want to try to do is actually make a kind of like a curved protector, or kind of like a screen protector or a skateboard protection, using plastic and glue and things. And I actually found this way to do it. So this right here is pretty much done. It's just was a test piece, but as I'm going to do this, you're going to be able to see. So I'm going to do one by one. You're going to be able to see the plastic. Oh shit. So you see how fast that went? So yeah, you got to really pay attention. So I got to cool this down. It's really good going at a slow pace and things like that. When it gets too hot, it's just going to melt too fast. So I turned off the stove, and then yeah, I'm gonna add, now I got to at least I know this works. So I'm gonna be saving these up here to help you know get this done, and then I'll at least have one skateboard. Then I'm gonna have to get another clear bottle, and I even painted as much as I could for the nuts and bolts on both skateboards. So they're pretty they're looking. And I changed out pretty much the nuts and bolts. This is 1.5 inch, so that it's pretty much a good fit. It's just like the perfect length, I guess. So 1.5 inch. And this skateboard has 1 inch. So yeah, that's most of my skateboard tails. I'm also working on my next DIY. So I drew out this diagram. It's actually for a phone stand, so I could do a few DIYs in front of the camera or whatnot. All I need is pretty much a plastic bottle, preferably non-clear, because I'm going to be putting rocks or something heavy inside so it doesn't tip over as easy. And then I'm going to just take the cap. So let's just say this is just a cap of a water bottle, and I'm going to drill a hole through this, and then I'm going to put pretty much the head side, and maybe a washer if the bolt, and then it's the phone, and then it's going to be pretty much a bolt, pretty much the length of the cell phone. So let's say this is a tablet. It's got to be that long of a bolt. Then I'm going to use a washer and a nut at the bottom, and then I'm going to use some acrylic pieces. This is going to be able to open and close. It's not supposed to be connected in the middle right there. That's a back support, and this actually clips towards, and then the whole bolt, and this could kind of sit out on the nut at the bottom, maybe on a washer, and then a washer and a wing nut on top. Uh, you know, so this is pretty much the design of the acrylic. This piece, the bottom and the very top, should be a pretty good thickness compared to the other pieces, like the back piece and the front clips. So it needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got different acrylic sizes right here. All I, and I was thinking maybe, a 1/8 inch and maybe like a 1/4 inch would be really, efficient enough. And then, as soon as I get my other stuff, like the skateboard stuff done, I'll have a lot more time to work on this. And here's some more, ideal, DIY pieces and things. But yeah, I could test which pieces I have and cutting things in the middle, or comparing the length, and actually figuring out which pieces I have, and then cutting acrylic with a die grinder or angle grinder. So how I cut these pieces, basically used my angle grinder with a metal cutoff wheel type of blade and things. It's really thin and stuff. They have the other type of blade, which is more of a sander or grinder, but this actually cuts acrylic pretty nicely. But I had to go slow because this blade, it might be a little dull and things like that. And I didn't want things to. I really had to pay attention to going straight down and making pretty much the right angle. And so let's say I'm getting ready to cut this. The die grinder, the guard was a little too high for using a thin piece sometimes, so I had to adjust. I've got to adjust the guard if I'm going to be cutting a lot of these. And you want the blade to contact at a 90-degree angle first. If it's a little bent and things, it could, so you got to really try to make sure things are at a 90-degree angle. I didn't really do a good job at that, just because, but I just just try to just tried my best at keeping the blade going straight and things like that, and slow, but making the spacer line a little gap space, really finished up having pretty good pieces for my tails. So it's really good to so I tried one when this was cooling off. It's really good to start from really cold water, and then trying to get this to shrink. While you're warming up the pan, you should really try this. It gets a lot more straighter and more of a controlled heat, just like this. But it does warp and bend a little bit, but it's not impossible. And there's a lot of professional DIYers that actually so I could kind of hopefully let that just rest, or hopefully it's warm enough just to have it completely straightened out and stuff, depending on where the plastic's curving. I can go one side and the other, and it will kind of melt back to the other direction, and then I gotta flip it over for now, and hopefully I get a straight piece for the tail. But it's starting to warp a lot and get wavy and stuff. So I was also thinking of having like pieces of wood and things, and dipping and or just having like a paper or like a plate that's a good size or something. I could try something like that, just to really make it, you know, flat and straightened out. So yeah, hopefully, you know, this video, you know, makes sense and stuff. It kind of, you know, making YouTube videos, it gets a little tough, tough choices on watching which videos, and subscribing to, you know, certain channels, and even keeping subscriptions is, you know, just every little thing, you know, just does something. And you know, I might have to restart with other 2 liter bottles and stuff. This is a little bit too warped, and I may have to do some more planning. Um, like I see this glass piece or this glass plate, but it's got a little curvature, you know, and you don't want any of that. You want it, you know, just enough surface, pretty much enough surface space for the whole piece. But if you turn off and on the stove and stuff and start it from low heat, it should work out. But I'm just trying to deal with this one piece. So we're just going to heat this up for the rest of the video, and then I'll see how it turns out, I guess. Hopefully it doesn't get too messed up. Yeah, it's a little messed up. I might have to heat up this water with this plate. It's just there's just so much, or a certain amount of surface space, and pretty much warm water and things, and even the spatula. So I just added a little bit of cold water, and you're going to be able to, as the water warms up, this plastic is going to start moving. I kind of made a short video, and then you know, the record got a little stuck, but hopefully this thing starts to warm up and I'll be able to see this plastic moving, and then that's when I know it's getting strained out and stuff. And then I've got to, you know, use a spatula and try to get it super flat. And even this way, I might be able to use a small, you know, 2 plates and really flatten it out. Okay, it's starting to move and flatten out. So I guess I had to return off and on. But yeah, here's that last piece. I did actually try to throw another plate on there, but it was just getting a little too, you know, I couldn't see what was going on. So, but at least I know I could kind of get it flat. So that's all I really wanted. Alright, YouTube, thanks for watching my video. Hopefully this was a little, you know, interesting. I'm gonna try to straighten this out, but I don't know. I might not. So here's one, and here's another one that I made. And you know, with adding a little bit of glue, hopefully it'll work. I might have to use a heat gun. And I'll see you guys on the next Upside DIY. Have a nice day. And the heat gun is actually for sale for $10. So I'll see you later.